Okay, so hello and welcome to second video of our series on the OpenHFDIB-DEM library. Let's just start with it. So we'll try to do this. Okay, so let's start. So this is our first hands-on session, and it will be focused on adding solids into our domain. Overall, in the course, we will try to reconstruct this animation or the simulation that gave rise to this animation. So already before, there is one preceding video focused on general informations on our library. So in this video, we will work with body addition. So where are we in the workflow with our library? So everything relevant in here is highlighted in green. So as I said in the previous video, we will be working mostly with this HFDIB-DEM dict, which is the only thing that is apart from standard OpenFOAM workflow. And in this tutorial or video, we will work with mostly with solid body definitions. So we will take a look at how to define body names, types, and how to add them into our computational domain. If you are interested in the code of our library, on this slide I highlighted the relevant parts in the source code that we will work with. Now let's jump into adding solid bodies into our domain. So first we will go through relevant capabilities of our library, and we will try to add a single body. We will do some repeated body addition, and then we will add the hexahedral solids that we call glitters and the impeller into the domain for the next step to be possible. Before we jump into this, please be advised that to be able to follow this video, you need to have OpenFOAM 24.12 installed on your machine and our library compiled. If you are present if you were present at the OpenFOAM Workshop 21st one in Guimarães, you were provided with these files. If you watch this video on YouTube, there is a link below in description that will take you to a repository that contains all the relevant source codes for this session, and also all the test cases that I will be showing here. So for the relevant capabilities, our library can work with shape-based solids, and there is at the moment only one of them, a sphere, or with STL-based solids that, due to computational complexity, are further split into convex bodies, such as this glitter particle, or in non-convex bodies, such as this blender monkey Suzy, or this impeller. And there are just some examples on how to define these bodies in our code, but we will take a look at that later. With respect to body addition, the most simple mode is add the body once in a geometry. Then there is something more advanced, so the body can be added repeatedly, either on the same position with some temporal interval, or bodies can be scattered through the domain or through a pre-selected bound box based on lambda field, but this is called an advanced usage from our point of view. And also the bodies can be loaded from a file. If you already ran a simulation, then you can load results in your simulation and continue from there. There is just some basic template for it. With respect to these advanced body addition models that I mentioned on the previous slide, the most used by us is this repeat random position, where the solids can be added repeatedly into the computational domain. in this case, for example, fulfill 5% of target volume fraction of solid phase in some previously specified bound box. But please be advised that the title of this slide is in orange, because this code is a research code. We are a small research team, and this part is, let's say, bleeding edge or maybe broken. And if everything is open source, if you find a mistake, you can correct it and push it to the upstream, and we will be very glad for it. So now let's go for the tutorial itself, and let's see how to add a single body into a computational domain. So at the end we should have something like this sphere, where the solid is defined through this lambda field that has the meaning of solid volume fraction in each given cell. So I will jump out of this presentation, minimize it, and switch to some better layout. Here I have ParaView open at the moment. I have some text editor in which I will work, and I have terminal loaded with respect to where we are. We are in the first part of the course, solid body addition, and we will be playing with 0-1 single body addition case, where this terminal leads at the moment. Okay, so let's take a look at what do we have here. First, of course, we need to define mesh. Our mesh is a small cube at the moment with a small resolution, so we will run block mesh and parafoam. I work with built-in, so built-in touch, and just load the result into ParaView to see what we will be working with. So this is just the mesh in which we will try to add a solid body. So now let's take a look at this HFDIB-DEM dict, the most important part in here. So first we will try to load a sphere. So our body will be named sphere. In body names, please be advised that this name in here needs to be consistent with the body definition name in here. For the purpose of this tutorial, the body will be static. There is at the moment some dummy density and material of this, but the important part is that our body geometry at the moment is sphere, so it's shape-based particle sphere which is defined by radius and starting position. And we will add this particle only once in this simple tutorial. To simplify running of everything, we have this all run script prepared that will just run block mesh and will run our application. So we will run it, all clean and all run. In here, and refresh the results. Now we have velocity field, forcing field, lambda field which defines our particle, and some refine F field for potential mesh refinement. So out of this we will just take a look at what our particle is. So we will scalar based on lambda field and value 0.5. So note invert. So this is our solid particle with respect to how it was specifically prescribed in the computational domain. If we want to take a look at how the fluid solver sees the particle, because it does not see a perfect sphere, it sees it through this through this lambda field. So we will make a contour and just take a look at how this is seen by the solver. If we increase mesh resolution, so I will go back to block meshdict, I will increase the mesh resolution to 40 cells per the whole domain, run everything again, and take a look in here. Yeah, the shape just looks a bit nicer. Okay, so that was it for a sphere. But if we want to add something more complex, like an STL-based particle, so we need a bit more stuff to do so. So first, if we want to load STL-based particle, we need to have it saved in constant tree surface. This is very similar to how we work with Snappy Hex Mesh. So now we have prepared glitter and impeller here. So, and we will work with glitters first. So we will load glitter. Once more, note that this name in here needs to be the same as in here. So this is glitter STL. So in here I need to load glitter, and my body needs to be defined as glitter. Now it's not sphere anymore, but it's a convex body, this glitter. And see that for convex body or STL based body, I do not specify radius or starting position, because this is loaded directly from the STL. And these changes are the only ones that you need to make to load STL body instead of perfect sphere. So let's run this again and take a look at our mesh or at the result. So yeah, this is how the solver with such a mesh resolution sees the solid body. Just to show you a reference, let's load a glitter from the STL file. Yeah, so this was the template particle. This is how the glitter looks from the point of view of the flow. If we decrease the mesh resolution a bit, so to the original value of 20, and run this again, the difference between the wanted and actually available shape becomes even more stark. And we work with this type of mesh. In our library there is a possibility to refine mesh at the fluid solid interface to get better shape. So let's just very briefly take a look at this. So it's done. Now we are going back to standard OpenFOAM practice. So this refinement is done in dynamic meshdict, where we just go for dynamic refine FV mesh, and we refine based on this refine F field, which is prepared in the solver for this specific reason. So if we color, we just take a slice through our mesh. The direction really doesn't matter. And we color this slice by this refine F field. You can see that around the particle, it's 1, outside of it's 0, and inside of the particle is actually also 0. So we can use this to refine using standard dynamic refine FV mesh approach. So this was the only change, and let's run everything again, and let's take a look at what's happened in here. Okay, so we refined to, okay, let's hide this. Let's see the mesh in here. We refined to the level of 2. You can see the refine F field in here. You can see the improved particle shape based on dynamic mesh refinement. So finally, let's just load the impeller in this case. So we have here instead of glitter, we will load the impeller. Once more, this needs to be set the same. Let's run this again and take a look at the result. And we can see the impeller in here. So this is always just a contour on the lambda field. So that's it. That's loading the impeller. Okay, and that, so let's go back to the presentation, and that was also the first adding single body. Okay, so perfect. Now for the repeated body addition, our goal there is to have just some glitters spread at the bottom of our computational domain. So first we just changed slightly the shape of the computational domain from a box or from cube to some hexahedron, but it was the only thing basically. So in ParaView we just open a new render view to see the results, and we will go to 02 repeated body addition and open relevant files in some text editor. So first all run is the same as before, just block mesh, and then we will add solid bodies through our application. Then the most important is the HFDIB-DEM dict, where we will work with glitters. With respect to mesh, we will be working with dynamic refine FV mesh to have the approach consistent with what we did before. So working with glitter means that in constant tree surface we need to have glitters, and we want to add glitters in some small part of our computational domain on this bottom of the domain, in such a way that the solid volume fraction will occupy roughly 10% of the whole volume of the box, the bottom of the domain. So to do so, we will just go through this HFDIB-DEM dict. We will work with glitters, which means that we will set up glitters in here. Here I need to have a small disclosure, and it's the fact that this repeat random position body addition model or add model that we will use requires checking for potential contacts between two bodies before they are added. So I have one body in the domain, and if I want to add another, I need to check if I am trying to add it to a free space. For this check, we just need to set some DEM settings, but these are just highlighted in the code, and we will take a look at them in more detail in the following videos. But apart from this DEM settings, almost everything is as it was before, but we want to add the glitter not only once, but repeatedly with random positioning inside some bound box, inside some subdomain of our computational domain. So for this we have this repeat random position add model, then which is set up with repeat random position coefs, we will add the solids based on the lambda field. Our target value in a specific bound box is 10%, and the bound box is defined as it is done usually in OpenFOAM, so bottom left and top right corner. Then in this, we will randomly scale all the edit particles, but the scale will be always 0.5. This is some kind of hack to just decrease the scale of the particles, and we will randomly rotate the particles at the addition. So that's basically it. So we can run all clean and all run. Yeah, and just take a look at what happens in here. So we will load the case here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now we can load the case. Yeah, and just as before, run contour on lambda field 0.5, which is the interface, and these are our glitters. So let's just give them some solid color. These are our glitters in here. So this is our overall computational domain. And the bound box in which we edit the particles was down there on the bottom. So yeah, just to and you can see that no particles are in contact, which was done through the contact checking in DEM, which was performed before solid body addition. And due to that contact checking, you may have also noticed that the runtime for this was significantly longer than before. It's caused by the fact that the solver basically tries to randomly add the solids where it can, and if it fails, it tries to add it to another position. So the computational complexity of this repeat random position with respect to field or solid phase volume fraction, it grows exponentially with the solid volume fraction that we want to achieve. And this 0.1 is doable, 0.2 is barely doable. And that's it from here. So what do we next on the menu? What do we have next on the menu? So it's putting everything together, and so to have our impeller and the glitters in the same place. So for this, let's in ParaView open new render view to see it. In terminal, I will go to a previously prepared folder, which is this 0.03 glitters and impeller, and once more I will load the relevant files in here. The only relevant file that is actually changed is this constant HFDIB-DEM dict, where now we have two solid bodies. We have impeller, okay, impeller in here, and we have glitter. So in my constant tree surface, I have impeller and glitter, the same names in here, same names in here. The glitter, the impeller is added only once, as in the first part of this tutorial. Then we will throw the glitters the same way as before below the impeller. So that's it, and we will let it run. Once more, we need to wait for the glitters to be added to fulfill this 10% of solid volume fraction condition. So we need to wait for a bit. But hopefully we will be getting there. Finally. For some reason, OBS is getting quite a bit of my computational resources, so everything takes longer than I'm used to. But now let's load it, and then, yeah, let's see this as outline, and let's just make the contour as before, 0.5, and let's see the impeller and the solids in there. Okay, that's it. Then you can see that the impeller is fairly small, but what we can do is the standard way. We can go to constant trisurface and make it larger. So points. Okay, this changes between versions. So I need bright scale. Okay. Right scale, and it will be a vector. And we have impeller and impeller scaled will be the output. Okay, maybe it worked. Let's just, we have impeller scaled in here. We need to change it in here, so impeller scaled is what we will load from the folder, and here it will be impeller scaled as well. That's it. Let's run it again. Once more we will need to wait a bit, but it will end and give us some result, hopefully. Yeah, now the problem is that I made the impeller bigger, which means there is more solid volume fraction in the box, and it takes even longer. So finally it's done, so refresh everything, and we have bigger glitter. The solids changed position because it's random body addition, but that's it. Finally, let's just see a slice. Through the domain, so now let's make it Z normal. Let's crinkle it just to see how the mesh is refined. Based on dynamic refinement. That's it basically. So let's go back to our presentation in here. So what we did now is that we went through adding a single body, repeated body addition, and then we constructed a simulation where the glitters and impeller are present, and that completed our tutorial on body addition in OpenHFDIB-DEM, and in the next video we will take a look at potential movement modes, as the impeller in here is rotating with prescribed rotation and the glitters are fully coupled with fluid flow. With that, I would like to thank you for your attention and see you in the next